Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon again. I hope you've been enjoying the event so far, right? Okay, so welcome to the second segment of our Leaders Workshop training. And this is going to be a panelist discussion amongst 4 youth leaders. But we wanted to have a discussion that can kind of give you guys an insight into leaders that have gone through exactly what maybe you want advice on. And maybe if you're someone that's aspiring or a current youth leader, these are people that are resilient youth leaders and they're very successful. So please pay attention and also network with them after this, ne? And my fellow panelists, I hope everyone is well. Are you guys well? Okay, so I'm just gonna start with a simple icebreaker that I want every single one of you guys to answer. It's very simple. And the question that I pose to all 4 of you is, what is leadership to you? And we can start with you, Resales.
Leadership to me is, I sort of explain it best like this. I walk and you want to follow. I do, you're inspired. That to me encapsulates what I define leadership as.
Okay. Can you repeat that a bit louder? Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I said leadership to me is essentially me, I want to walk, and you want to follow. And I do, and it inspires you. All up to you. We choose our leadership, and I feel like that's the best leadership, when it's voluntary, that the people want to come. So that to me is what it is.
Over to you, Miss Graduate.
Okay, thank you. With me, leadership, same as him, is creating a vision and inspiring people to work towards that goal. But not also, being a leader is not only being the top of the food chain, but also serving people. That is leadership to me.
And then we'd love to hear your answer, Mr. Press.
Thank you for having me. I think leadership is about influence. If I was to talk about leadership, I'll just use that word. And like she said, I think we are able to influence people, our community, individuals at different levels. And for as long as we are able to positively influence people in the right direction, from what they see, from what we say, from how we live our lives, I think we are in the right track of leadership. Thank you.
Over to you, Rama.
Mic check. All right. Kirimela or Batswana ke. Ka bukuswane hela ke tumela. Ka bukuswane hela ke kare boeteledipele, right? Ke gonna pharologano. Pelo ka eletsa go bona pharologanyo.
Okay. So I'm just going to first start with you, Me Sanoto, because I want you to kind of explain as the founder of QArm, and we want our audience to understand how to turn an idea into a project, a living thing. So please kindly just take us through the steps that you took from the minute you had the idea to start QArm, what problem you saw that needed solving, and which steps did you take to create it into what it is today.
Hi again. Hi. Most of you probably know, I started QArm, which started as a club at the University of Botswana, and now it expanded. We are now in different universities in Africa. Okay, so starting QArm, by the way, I grew up with social anxiety. I keep saying this. I had the biggest anxiety ever, so being a leader was something I didn't dream about. Ever, or starting what I started was never part of the plan. It was just one day where my mentor, I had a mentor, he said to me, how are you different from everyone? And I was not different. It was just me. You know, I was not doing anything. I felt useless at that time, you know, because I was not doing anything for anyone. It was just me existing in my own world. Now, like Miss Put Youth On, upon realizing the existing gap between between academia and the industry, I was driven to establish a platform where your industry people, where students are able to collaborate and find, you know, I'm basically bridging the gap between students and the industry. That's what really inspired me to start QArm, and then it grew. Now, starting QArm, it started as a club at the University of Botswana. It's basically me fighting him to say, hey, I want to start this because, you know, he had power. And to say, hey, I want to start this, and you just follow the steps. Now, expanding it, when we hosted our we're celebrating 1 year as QArm, somebody came to me all the way from Eswatini. She said, I came here specifically for you to say hi. I was like, oh, you know, this is actually going, I didn't know it was, you know, that big. And then that's when I was driven to say, hey, let's expand, not just in Botswana, because we're now in Biust and Baisaro, but also in Eswatini and Lesotho. And yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. I think after kind of understanding that, I would like to move on to Ngwako to explain what the Sustainable Development Goals are. Because after you realize you have a vision to have an organization or an initiative that solves a problem, you obviously want to make sure it's in alignment with assisting your country to develop, right? So can you explain to the audience what the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals are and how they can align their organizations with those goals?
Thank you. First of all, ke batla go la appreciate gore e rela sana le ja e bele sa tsamaya. Na ikopeleng diat. Thank you for the question. And I'm not well. Me, I will manage. I was the young delegate who represented Youth of Botswana at the high-level political forum in New York in July. So, actually, my organization was mainly focusing on just empowering young people. It's an era that us as young people who are leading initiatives find ourselves doing, whereby we are like, we want to initiate programs that empower people or empower young people. The question is how? How? The how part, yet we think we have the goal and the vision and the whatsoever. So when I got there, I realized people are serious there. You know, when they say they want to address a problem, they mean it. Initiative it's like we are confused. They are not aligned to global goals or national goals. Since you have been leading an initiative, how is it aligned to Vision 2036? How is it aligned to Sustainable Development Goals? So it's very, very important. Hence why we saw it fit as Global Youth Development to advocate for SDGs. The global goals. May not only advocating for them here. The what do you call it? National goal or nasa. A Vision 2036. So, tota hela ke sone se ka bokhutshwane re heletseng se re go go forming kana go shifting gore be re empower banana, but rather now re batla go itebaganya le youth leaders to encourage, develop them, educate them for how form an initiative or program is also really aligned to a national goal or a global goal. So that if you are aligned to these two goals, then it means you have a direction.
Okay. Just to add on to that, for those of you who don't know, there is a website called Yali Africa. It also has short courses that can help you kind of gain direction and guidance in your initiative, right? What you want to do, how you want to do it. It's a very, very good platform. They also have cohorts, I believe, of different entrepreneurship, whatever. You get into that and you can be the 2025 cohort, and it's like a 6-week course. And then it gets into proper detail of how you're going to be able to align your initiative. Like he said, it's important to align your initiative. You don't want to be confused and wanting to do everything at the same time, because if you put your eggs in whatever Sekwa says. Okay, so now after we've talked about, how to turn your idea into a reality. Then we talked about aligning it with sustainable development goals. But what I want us to talk about now is specifically you as a leader, right? So I'm gonna pose this question to Maatla Magibisela and ask her, what are the main characteristics you would say a leader needs to have in order to lead well?
Thank you. I think the first thing that we should have is love. Comrade Advocate Boko once said that a leader must have love, and he defines love as a thoroughgoing commitment to the well-being of others. I think he was right. I think at the core of everything, for one to be able to serve, like someone was defining leadership, one must have love for the people. And if they don't have it, they're not going to be able to lead. The second thing, you must have a teachable spirit. Leadership is a journey of ongoing learning. You don't stop learning, so you must learn and have the humility to be corrected and to correct yourself. You will not always get it right, but if you are humble enough, you'll be able to learn from your mistake. You'll be able to learn from others. You must read. Leaders must read. So that, how do you lead people if you have the same knowledge and everything like that? How are you able to guide them? If you are going before them, how are you able to show them the way? So we need to be able to see far. We need to be able to know more. And this comes with continual efforts to better ourselves. The hunger to be better than we were yesterday, today. And obviously, I think the last one, especially because I exist also in the space of politics, I think you need to have good interpersonal skills, because you'll be dealing with people. In politics, we deal with the West, but you need to keep the boat afloat. You need to keep driving even when people are pulling in different directions, and you meet different characters, I can promise you. But if you are able to manage people, you are able to manage your emotions and interact with them in such a way that you can continue to inspire loyalty and respect, then you'll be able to move forward much easier, and your leadership journey would prove a journey that you will enjoy.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I think now I want to move to Loago Saleshando and specifically ask you, for individuals, we understand that your initiative has to have a social media presence. So because as the founder of Latango, I want to kind of pose to you this question of, how would you advise us as youth leaders to have a social media presence, a strong social media presence?
Okay, that's a good question. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot. We have to fix my introduction, because I'm not just the current SRC president of BAC. I might just choose to be the incoming as well. So that's first. As for social media, I'm going to speak from my perspective, because I'm big on personal branding with my social media and leveraging it for that purpose and using that to really separate myself from my business as well. Remember, Kagiso told you what I said last week about who are you outside of what you do, right? So I would say, and it's a shame that things are the way they are right now. You scroll through TikTok and usually us, the youth, dancing and stuff, and it's cool and it's pretty, but you're not leveraging it to make any real impact, right? And it goes to the life that you live. See, for me, in my own case, if you look at my YouTube, it's very insightful stuff. I'm checking out the economic status of the whole world. I'm checking out political debates to see what's going to be happening policy-wise and things that have real significance in the world that we live in. And because I'm ingesting all that information every day, I'm posting about it every day. And so people that follow me are seeing all that stuff every single day. I'm making a real impact. But it came from myself and my own personal capacity. So if you're someone of the youth, in the youth demographic, and you too want to make a significant change, you too need to look at, okay, but what am I doing? Who am I? Understand that first before you go ahead and start, dancing and stuff on TikTok. So that's my style. And, there's different ways of doing it. We've seen Mema Bedi, really changing a culture and inspiring us to do things in a bit of a different way, right? But it comes all the way down to first you. And have real impact in your own life before you go and doing it for other people. So that's how I do it.
Okay. I actually love that answer so much because you cannot separate yourself from something that you have started. So it's very important that you as an individual be a person of character, be a person of substance, so that when you start something, someone will be like, Loago Saleshando started this thing, and I've met him here, and he's like this, he's like this. So obviously this is something that I can trust and I can, invest in, right? So I'm gonna pose my next question to Ms. Sanoto. I wanna say Miss Graduate every time, cause period. Okay, so my question to you is very simple. Throughout your leadership journey, kindly tell us, what was the hardest challenge you've ever faced? I remember you were talking about your social anxiety, and I'm sure there are people that face the same issues in the audience today. Kindly take us through how you talked yourself out of such challenges, or the biggest challenge you've ever had.
All right, thank you. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a graduate. I graduated on Thursday. Okay, so now my biggest challenge was actually not social media, not social anxiety, sorry, but rather it was having the worst exit strategy, like Kagiso said. I started QAM in 2023, so that means I'm the founder, and I'm also the president. I'm the leader. I see the goal, that's me, I'm doing everything. Now, 2024, I am supposed to go, I'm done with school and I'm working. I have to leave an executive team that's managing. I had the SMART goals, everything was aligned, everything, they aligned, but letting go was my biggest problem. And I had a chat with Kagiso. The way I approach life with a teachable spirit that is eager to learn and grow. He sat down with me to say, you're going to have to let people, you're going to have to trust people. And I did exactly that because I was like, oh my God, it's like I don't know about having a firstborn, by the way, but it's like having a child and your aunt is trying to take it, you're like, whoa, 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 that was me, but I had to let go. To say, I am the founder, and I'm gonna have different executive teams. I had to trust the process. And then with social anxiety, you just have to step up, honestly, because if you don't, really, you might miss out on a lot, trust me. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that answer. Just to kind of add as well, when it comes to, because I'm a firm believer in God, I'm a Jesus girly. So when it comes to things like, for me, I also struggle with social anxiety. And I think maybe it might be shocking because I do a lot of things where it really needs me to be in front of people. So every single time, what has worked for me and what I can maybe suggest to you guys is I always recite this verse, Jesus, you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of peace, love, and a sound mind. So whenever I'm in... Thank you. So whenever I'm in a place where I feel like this is what is going on, these people have degrees and I'm just a fourth-year law student. I'm like, you know what? You saw this in my destiny, you saw this in my life, and the fact that I'm here means that you think that I deserve to be here. So I'm not gonna trust in my ability, but I'm gonna trust in the vision that you had for my life, and that when things happen, they are meant to happen at that time. So when it comes to like facing because I even had anxiety coming up here, by the way. Like I was like, everybody's staring at me, but it was like, you know what? I have to do it because you have not given me a spirit of fear. So that's my addition. Thank you. But I want to pose this question to you next, Mr. Sales. So I think one thing that I've noticed when it comes to leadership is that when you become a leader, certain people don't maintain humility. I think that's the word. Like you let your position get to your head, right? So it's a thing of, obviously, sometimes you don't see it happening. Sometimes it just happens because now everyone is like, oh, you're so-and-so, you founded this, and this thing is now a big thing, and you start feeling like, you know what I mean? So I want to pose a question to you about, certain things like that create a division between you and your peers. So how have you navigated that as the BAC SRC president? Fine, I'm a leader, but I'm also still your age mate. I can be a friend, I can be all other things, but how did you balance those two relationships?
Well, in my experience, I really try to humanize myself. So, by the way, I really, really respect the position, 100%, and I think I might be one of the few presidents that decides to come in, fully suited to school every day, right? But I still try to humanize myself by going to people I don't know and really giving out fist pumps and check up on people and saying, how are you doing? And my office is basically an open door. You come in and tell me whatever's bothering you, and I'm there as a person to come help you before anything. And so that's how I try to ensure that, everyone can see that he's just a guy too, right? In terms of how you deal with then, your peers when you get into these positions, earlier today, I forget his name, but we were told about the future being in the hands of those who are willing to sacrifice themselves for it. And one big thing I've had to pretty much sacrifice is my social life, pretty much, right? And, the truth is, people will tell you, yeah, balance, balance, balance. And in the building phase of whatever you're trying to do, if you try to seek balance and prioritize that over whatever progress you're trying to go for, in my experience, you will get killed by those that are willing to throw away those social lives and focus on the goal at hand. So if you are to lose 1, 2, 3, 10 friends of yours and be a no one socially in pursuit of what you're going for, to me, I remember that my friends are not going to buy me a Lamborghini, a boat, a plane, and a mansion. So stay focused. It's pretty simple.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so my next question is going to be posed to Magibisela, because I am a firm believer in, like he said, to leaders to serve, and as a leader you are meant to, develop other people. And I believe in decentering self when you lead something, because it's not about you. You live life for others, right? So my question to you is, how would you advise a leader to ensure that they foster development in those that are following them?
Thank you. No, it's okay. It's okay. I said before, like I said, you need to have love, and I'm big on that, which is very genuine. And when you have that, by default, you develop an interest, genuine, so that without even having to consciously decide to do it, you're observing them, and you know them, and you see them. You see them for their strength, their weaknesses, and that is the starting point, that you are able to know who they are and where they are going. And so that you are able to develop them with relation to who they are and where they want to get to. Because you don't want to try and turn them into you. Yeah. Now, if you know them and if you know what they want, you're able to advise better, and you're able to invest your time and your resources better in trying to help them get to a certain space. What I started by doing was recommending books. or buying books for them. So I have friends around me that know when it's their birthday, I'm going to buy a book. They know. So they know that lahabare hagona that element of surprise. But anyway, it's my contribution to developing them. And I buy these books because I would know who they are and where they want to go, and I'll buy the right books. So I think that is the first thing to do. Be genuinely interested in knowing the person. And then number 2, you know, we rise and fall to the strength of our systems. And not our goals or visions. People who dream, I want to be this and that, but if you do not have proper system, you're not going to go anywhere. Now, the second level is to help them set up proper systems. And you can play the role of a mentor or whatever you want to call that, but the person that says, we have agreed on these kind of systems, how are you going to get there? In the tuition business, we help people set up their vision boards, we help them set up their study timetables and all. That is a system that you follow to get to where you want to get to. So you design systems that are specific to where these people want to go to, and then you help them by ensuring that they stick to these systems. So you would see the development journey becoming far much better, and you see results. And you need to be results oriented. And you need to ask, you are supposed to have done 1, 2, 3 things, have you done them? If not, why have you not done them? And I think that is how we pour ourselves to people. And to just care, you know, when you win people's hearts and they give you a platform to lead them. You know, people don't just listen to us because we have positions or because we are CEO or founder. People listen to us because they give us the platform to lead them. And you need to be able to inspire that by the way you live. So people that are close to you know you than everyone else. And so if they know you to be a proper leader, they know you to be a principled person, to be a go-getter, without even having to say to them, be go-getters, they're going to be that. So we need to have an exemplary life. Thanks.
Oh. That was so good. Let's do it again. What an answer. What an answer. That was amazing. Thank you for that. So I'm going to pose my last question, because after this I want to open it up to the floor so that you guys can ask our panelists questions. Please ask questions, guys. Galakop. Okay. So my last question is posed to you, Ngwako. Your organization has a youth development strategy summit happening in 2025. Kindly explain what that summit is about, what it aims to do, and why youth leaders should attend it.
Thank you. It's Botswana Youth Leaders Interconnection Forum. The Youth Development Strategy Summit, the previous one, you're only one of the speakers there. So when I was there, one of the things that I discovered, there is no unity amongst us as youth leaders. There is no cooperation, there is no working together. It's like knows. But we must understand community you will realize, I mean, but we can't come together and partner and work together in order to meet that common goal. So when I was there, you know, I was given a chance to, of course, in front of the minister, in front of government officials. And I was like, according to me, there is a lack of platforms. They will basically unite them and force these youth leaders to work together. We must understand Releha, because I agree it's youth leaders training workshop. Again, you guys are leading initiatives, right? The responsibility to unite those young people out there. So I was like, okay, since we have stakeholders, traditionally Botswana National Youth Council, by they are like, okay, he is the voice of the youth. Megan Harare, he is the voice of the youth. Rabora gore ke ene le gore o re emela go go goromente gore buelelela. Me ha re buelelela, potso ke gore o tsa ka matshwenyo ga rona. O di tsa kae? Ha re bua ka policy making and decision making, do tso di tsa go kae? Mo gorang gore there must be availability of platforms. Tse leng gore etana a way in which another stakeholder ele BNYC can partner with about us we are suggesting them there kana re dikgobokantse go tswa ko banane ba harologaneng abadisa go government e re le ha re ntse ha sena re lemoga gore even the initiatives le gore the government wa di initiator kana di project tse le gore wa di initiator most of the time go bo heletsong la ile gore go ngwane di ikeletse go ama kana go solve a particular challenge in the community go be heletsong di halla di solve di babisetsa a ke tsore nka e baya di babisetsa di sa solve directly but di babisetsa so be nna gone gore gone making ke se dirang gore go hele go nna yana. It's a lack of platforms. So Botswana Youth Leaders Interconnection Forum elaka bokuswane tabele go kwanya youth leaders to come together under one roof and review, be able to share, be able to talk. We have to recognize the fact that programs are already we want solution towards particular problems. The solution did how can we boost them in order to solve those particular challenges? So the forum kgota go reviewa kgota go buisana le kgota go bona gore amme go tsweng ha ya karta bere nna ya government yo mo ha ke re government yo mo sa ke skere ke bua ka party ile ke le kare arta bere unte ba ya Mr. Magibisela ile ke le kare re ke bua ka ganyene ke re ka re bile tebere simolla mo puso yentsha motho a ba tsa gore ke ra gore nya puso ya go change nya ga ke hong ga ke buise le thai ya me ba getso le tswela mo go yona a kere se ke se bua la ke gore tebere simolla term yentsha ya government wa nako whether ke partying or whether ke partying we can be able to start with that government laying a fresh page re khona gore le rona re ne le input in terms of contributing towards the transformation of our community and country in general.
I just want to clarify that the opinions of each speaker are not affiliated with PutYouthOn. But just to add on to what he said, it's very important that you do away with an individualistic mindset as a leader, because I feel like if you refuse to collaborate, that means your initiative is for selfish reasons. It's not for the bigger picture. It's for yourself. You want to put yourself out there. You want to prove to people that you, which is not why you lead. And I, for one, I think, and it's normal. It's normal to struggle with an issue that someone is doing something similar to you and you feel like competition. It's I don't know if it's the way we were raised or whatever, but it's human nature to feel threatened, right? But what you do after that is to realize that there's a bigger picture and it's not you. So you have to put that aside and realize, I'm going to collaborate with this person because both of us have the same goals. And another thing that I truly believe in, which is what has helped me navigate the kind of feeling threatened when someone is doing something similar is that what I have, the gift that I have will make space for me. That's what the Bible says. So there is no way God made us with unique talents. So there's no way that what you have could be exactly the same. And there's no way that what you have, just because someone is taking up a certain space, it does not mean like it's less of you. I don't know if I'm making sense. You get what I mean? It does not mean there's no opportunities for you. So I think it's something that when you come across it, because you will, we are a small population, but everyone has similar ideas, and not everyone wants to collaborate. But I just pose it to you, just be that person that sees the bigger picture. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of open up the floor. If you have any questions for any of our panelists, including me, please ask.
Hello. Hello, hi. So, what stood out to me the most during this panelist discussion was that you spoke of love, right? And I think it's such a beautiful concept to hear, because it's not really what you always hear. It's always, hey, get up, get motivated, do 10 push-ups a day, and you'll be rich or something. But it's also I think the concept of love for me is what Jesus did. He literally didn't come down as like any of the royal family members or anything like that. And what is always portrayed in the movies with the gods and all of that, they're always untouchable, you get me? So that's the love, to relate to another human being, to say, you know what, I got you, you know what, I'm gonna listen to you. And that's how we help each other grow. And you all spoke of just having like a teachable spirit. We do that every single day because we're humans, we evolve. We can't just use the same information that was used 20 years ago, because right now, it's 2024 and the technology is insane now. We've got AI. So that's what stood out to me. Love is beautiful, guys. Love, love, love. And I think for this event, it was brought about by the love of learning and just wanting to be better. So keep striving to be better. Love it, love it.
Sorry.
Does anyone else have a question? Yeah.
Can I add? There's a reason why Mr. Magibisela na aumaka kanya love. You know, that was very profound. Now let me break it up a bit. You know, othala ganya gore akere ne re bua ka leadership akere kana ha re boeteledi pele re ra le rato re ra jana. Now ha ke tsana mo ka ha scripture enka. You know, in the book of 1 Corinthians, it talks about love. Ebere, love is kind. Love is patient. Love doesn't boast. Love doesn't envy. That's a whole description of a leader. Huh? Basically, you have to be unique from the rest of the people. Being able to compromise. Being able to serve. You understand? Yes. So, how love, I wanted to, you know, you need to have love as a leader. Without love, you will not have these qualities. You will not be patient. You will envy but develop, promote in life, yet you call yourself a leader. You see? Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're still waiting. Anyone that you have a question? Okay, 2.
I have 2 questions. The first one, do I have to pose it to someone specific? Okay. The first one is in terms of burnout, because as a leader, we tend to have so many ideas and so many things we need to do. Like, how do you deal with burnout as a leader? That's my first question. Then my second question is, you know, as youth leaders specifically, we tend to deal with people looking down on us or seeing us as incapable of like achieving certain things or doing certain things or being in certain spaces. I myself have been in a position where I was told, oh, you can't do this, you know, I only have a degree in psychology, or you can't start a mental health business without going to get your master's, or you're too young, or you're incapable of being in such spaces, you know. There's this one, I want to share it with you. It's 1 Timothy 4 verse 12 says, don't let anyone think less of you because you're young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in what you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. It's something I've lived up to, and I just want to know, in terms of you, how have you dealt with people looking down on you? Thank you so much.
Does anyone want to answer? You want to answer?
Hi. I'm going to take your second question. Like I said, I had the biggest social anxiety, and people knew that I had social anxiety. So me stepping up in front of a large crowd was like, what is Tshegofatso trying to do, right? So I am a God's girl, by the way. I am a God's girl. So I thought to myself, God didn't give me an idea just for me to keep it in. If God gives me an idea, that means he can take me through it. I'm definitely, he has my back all the time, right? So I prayed. I hope you guys are all believers, because I am nothing without God. I tell people that I am absolutely nothing without God. I am who I am because of God. So it's all about being persistent, right? And not detaching from your source of strength. It's all about that. Thank you.
Does anyone want to add?
Let me add something for both the first and the second question. I'll start with the second one. And I think you are right. God first. Didn't like him rude. But I read something some time ago where they said success happens at the intersection of opportunity and preparation. You see, people will always have opinions. They will always form opinions. But for me, when I know that I have done due diligence and I've done my best, it's very hard for anyone to tell me that I should stop. Because your confidence also, to an extent, confidence. But if you know that you've done well, and you know, for example, if you want to start, you said it's a clinic or whatever, and you know you have done your research, you know it's possible, you know your market, I'll find another way. So I think that is the first thing that you want to do. You want to be prepared. But also, you know the way I approach life is that I think there's always two sides to a coin. For me, most of my mentors today are mentors that saw me when I was still in high school. And they loved me because they felt he's a young, brilliant guy. So being young has its own disadvantages, but it also has advantages. You will have people that are going to look down on you because you're young. But also you will have people that will respect you for your boldness as you are young. So you want to leverage and keep going. You will find someone, I promise you. And with regards to the first one, my anchor is God. I mean, when it gets to how you deal out with burnout and stuff like that. But also, I disconnect. I think sometimes, I don't know if this works for everyone, but who disconnect from people helps rejuvenate. You can imagine, there are times where I tell people that I feel like my life is an autopilot. Like, I wake up at this time, and I'm back very late. It's like I don't have time for myself. So sometimes to just disconnect from people, don't respond to the messages. I know for politicians can be something else. But you want to do that, it helps, so that you can rejuvenate and come back. But obviously we always come back. Work has to be done, we have to move forward. Thank you.
To address the second question, when people, by the way, this is an issue I had to deal with myself when I started Latango. I had to, it's a very sales-heavy company, very sales-heavy business model. I have to go and reach out to people that didn't ask me to call them and go and book meetings with them to explain to them why they should work with us for a service they never asked for, right? And all while doing it, they look at me like, but you don't have, do you even have a degree in marketing? No, I'm still studying, you know? So what I realized is that sometimes, some of these things are embedded into the culture. And I've realized that in my life, because of all of the repetition of all these people that are, going to look down on you for being young, just break the status quo yourself. Go to them and speak. Last week someone said something crazy. A 40, 50-year-old woman said, "You guys shouldn't be allowed to vote. What do you know about governance?" And I said, "Oh, wow." I took her on head on. I said, "Oh, with all these votes that you've been having, you think you did a good job? You think this country where it should be? Right? Take it head on, and you'll see that, you do your own, duty as a citizen by making this world a better place, by changing those that are just weird, So I find it very weird, sorry. So that's the first one. The second one, the first question actually, I find to prevent burnout, going back to also disconnect, is take mini holidays every day. Every day I'm on holiday, right? So from the trip from home to school to drop off my siblings, that's a mini holiday. Listen to a podcast, listen to some music, just disconnect from your whole life, right? Get to the office, the first thing I do every morning, every hour, is I take an hour to read my favorite newspaper, go through YouTube. I'm chilling, right? I'm really resting. And once you do, inevitably you will hit burnout one day. But as a leader, you're leading a team. I had to learn how to delegate this year, right? And trust in those who are with you, because why are they there, right? So that's my 2 cents on that matter.
Hello, everybody. My name is Branti. I have a question for Maatla. Oh, well, it's open to anyone, but what advice would you give to a young girl or boy who wants to make an impact, but they don't know where to start, or they just don't have enough support?
I think for me, and this might be different, you start with conversations. You see, because when I started doing seminars, in high school. We would organize workshops for young people. But that came from conversations that I had with people. And because you see, as they speak it into existence, as you speak to people about things, they begin to crystallize. And when you think about it long enough, they will move you into action. Now, you want to start with conversation. 2, then you need to find people. I believe in the power of relationships. We must seek to invest in relationships, the right relationships. If you find people around you that share the same vision, then you'll be able to move into that life of impact easier than if you try to do it alone. And there's nothing wrong with starting by contributing in what one could say someone's vision. Like if I have a program that is running and you think you align with it, start by working with me. And that gives you an opportunity to learn. We like to try to reinvent the wheel. Like everyone wants to be doing something in their own corner, but it does not help us. So as you start having these conversations and you find the right people and you invest in those relationships, you'd find that you would easily transition to another level, to the next level, because those people would also pour into you. I mean, for example, the first thing when you are thinking, for example, if you want to do a seminar and you start asking yourself, which venue am I going to use? And then you ask Mandip and says, no, you can try Accelerate. But you will never know, because if you don't have the right people around you. So I think that is where you want to start. Start with the conversation. Have the conversation with the right people. Then you find the relationships that matter. And look into people that are doing what you're doing, see where you can fit into their grand vision, contribute there, and with time, if you want to do something that is your own, then that's when you can go that direction.
Can I add to that? Yeah. All right. He talked about conversation, right? So now, obviously, the first conversation that you want to have about your life is with the author of life. And I'm hoping that, as we're mentioning God, God is not a lucky charm. My mentor says your genuine willingness plus God's ability is equals to success. Your genuine willingness being the hard work, that very first step that you take, plus God's ability that is unlimited, is equals to success. Thank you.
I love this topic. I must say, I think also when you finish speaking to God, look at yourself as well and think, okay, but what are you interested in? Because I think that also sparks the conversations that you want to have. So for me, in my own example, I said, I like business. Fine. Started the company. I've impacted people's lives by bringing in a team that was struggling to get work. Now, I paid someone last Thursday, they said, Danko employee, and it touched my heart, right? So that's the first thing, is figure out what you like and want to do, because then it's easier to push and make real impact because you love it anyways. And the second thing I was going to say, which has now left my mind, so I'm trying to reboot my brain and figure it out what I know. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we have questions. How many questions are there? Please kindly raise your hand if you have questions. Yo, guys. I believe that's like 8, 7. Okay, the people that raised their hands, you guys are the very, very last people. After this, we have 2, right? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sheiza. I'm foreigner, by the way. I'm from Mozambique, and it's a pleasure to be here. Well, my question is specified. Well, my question is specified to the founder. I heard with Maatla, if you allow me to refer to you like that, when he mentioned that you can have a dream, but you'll have a proper system to reach that dream. So as a founder, I'm sure that for the fact that you have all of us here in your event, that was a dream and you reached it. Do you really have a proper system to reach this? For sure, you planned, but how is it?
Thank you for that question. I think it gives me the opportunity to answer every single person that has ever asked me that. I do not want to lie and claim that I entered into this thing knowing that it would materialize into this. Okay, so let me just make myself clear. I didn't think we would be here. I didn't think I'd have a team of over 20 people and our very first event would be this successful. I didn't think that. So when I started, it was just simply like, oh, people don't know about opportunities, people are missing out. What do? But Tarata TikTok. So I was like, how do I make young people interested in events that will develop them in a way that is cool? So TikTok, right? So I got on there, and I think my first video was with Zauner's book. I was like, you guys are paying tickets to I'm a piano what, but you can't buy a 200 rupiah ticket. You get what I mean? And then it did well, and then it started getting overwhelming for me to do that alone, because immediately after I had a community, and that community grew so quickly, and I just expected like 20 people in that community, because it has your personal number, so I'm not thinking like, and then in like a week it was like 1,000 and something. I said, wait a minute, what is going on? And then I think there's no proper structure or step-by-step plan that I can give you. I can't give you, I did this and I did that, because I was also just not understanding what's going on. I was like, God, what is this? Like, what is going on? And then it was a thing of praying, and then an idea comes, like, and I'm like, okay, let's move from community to what? I think, and then also I was just praying for people that are meant to help me in the vision that I have to come. And when I was just Miss Put You On, that's when I started having a PA, and I had Morph that you see there. And and then we were just 3. And then I was like, this is getting too much for me. It's too much for me because now people are personally texting me, God, I need a team. But I don't just want anyone. I want people that have similar visions, that understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I was like, okay, how do I do that? How do I sieve out people that just want to be attached to something that's popular, to people that actually have the want to solve issues the way that I do? So I had an application process, and people applied, and each and every application I'm like, this person, 2 lines, no, you're playing. And then the people that I shortlisted, I was praying, this doesn't feel right. Like, they don't feel right. There are people that really had good CVs and application letters, but I was like, you just don't feel right. Like, my spirit was just like, no. So the people that you see in my team, they went through the application process and they're successful, right? So I can't give you a step-by-step process. My solution, my guidance has always been God. I don't want to lie to you. And my prayer since I started this year, because last year, I'm so much different from last year. My prayer since I started this year was, God, may my life be an evidence of your existence. And when I said that, I think it sounds nice. And then now I'm like, it's materializing, that I don't want to ever have or claim that I'm responsible for this thing. When this has happened and you guys see this, I need you to understand that it's all God. I can't give you a step-by-step plan. Even let me say, I'm giving you a step-by-step plan, God, right? Let me say that. So that's all. And I'm so happy because even let me take this chance to really, really appreciate my team. I have an amazing team, guys. Like, I have an amazing team. Like Maatla said, system, and I have an amazing system. I don't know if you guys noticed, I left for literally an hour, 30 minutes, and things were just flowing. Like, I even left my phone. I didn't even know what was going on. I come back, I'm like, okay, these people, because they understand. And what has been helping me is centering God consistently. So what I started doing with them is we have Sunday prayer and Bible study at 8 p.m. They know. So it's the thing of we pray, and I explain to them, it's my opportunity of explaining to them that, listen, what we're doing, and it's not about me. I think that's also why I changed Miss Put You On to Put Youth On, because I don't want to center myself and me be the face of God's thing, because it's not about me, right? So I explained to my team that this is the vision, and I want you to understand that because it's in your life, it also plays a role in you fulfilling your destiny. You're not doing this for me, or for me, you're doing it for God, and you're doing it for yourself. So they're very involved. That's why these days, even when we greet you on our channel, it's not, hi batho ba me ke hi batho ba rona, because le batho ba rona ba put youth on Lansar. So I think what helped me is I involved my team very much in the vision, and they now feel like it's also their vision, it's not just mine. So I hope I answered the question. There were other 5 questions I remember answered.
Afternoon, team. First, I would like to say congratulations to Mandipa. I'm a proud uncle. Congratulations to you and your team. My question will start with a statement. Growing up, there's a line that my mom used to say. She still says it though. She says, the first president, Kama, he used to tell her that, tell them in their era, whatever they know, they'll put you on and we'll just say. And as I grew up, it frustrated me, that statement. You know why? I get to realize that statement was meant for her. Remember, we just got independence, and we didn't know nothing. They knew how to run the system. So they were supposed to stay closer and learn from them and teach this upcoming generation to run things on our own, right? So there comes my question. It is to all of you guys. If a baton was to be passed to you, you are the next leadership. What is the system that you have in place, the things that you can do to say you can get us, all of us here, more dependence or government this, government that. Because right now, if our economy has to shrink, do you know that we don't have a savior locally made to say that billionaire can save the economy, just like why America, Elon Musk can be one. Us, when we speak our millionaires, our billionaires, they are all connected to the government. And the next generation is coming to the government. So I'm saying you, the next leadership, what are the systems that are in place to say we can raise this youth to have a mindset of entrepreneurship? Thank you.
He hasn't spoken in a while.
That was a heavy question.
Look, I'll try. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. In my own capacity, I think I've done my own national duty to give back to this country by using my channel to empower independent thinking and, entrepreneurial and well-informed citizens in this country. Now, I think so far I haven't, got anything physically established, like a foundation to bring up youth leaders, but I think from what I've got so far, we've got people that have tried to be independent from their employers by reaching out to me to get into business models that I teach about on my channels. And so I'm bringing up people that first are trying to free themselves financially, and I think, guys, once you know you're free financially, the dependence on the government is no longer an issue in your life. So that's what I think I've done, I can say, in my own personal capacity, and I hope that is a sufficient answer to that really complex question. Thank you.
Hey, I hear you. You remind me, in fact, some years ago I was seated with one of my mentors, and she runs something. They produce dairy products, and we're talking about entrepreneurs. And that is just to show how I relate to that question. And she says to me, look around and tell me one brand that is a Botswana brand that you see, a proper brand. And she says, would you go to South Africa and would you find that brand? And I thought, I'm like, sure. Because you put it right to say, those of us who want, the people that we see, they are wealthy, they are people that get tenderpreneurs. And they don't create, and I'm very sorry, this might be controversial. You think about it, they don't create that much value in terms of production. And if the government is struggling, it means they will be struggling. They cannot help us. I think we need to start with education. And you ask what is to be done as leaders, where will we start? We need to start with education so that our people, because you see, this issue of mindset, it can be changed. But it's a simple thing, you change it through education. The government is trying to transition to a knowledge-based economy. But we cannot reach a point where we are a knowledge-based economy without changing in a disruptive manner the very backbone of that economy, which is education. If you look at the graduate you are producing at the University of Botswana, what kind of a graduate is that? Maybe 90% are looking for a job. So we need to change that through the way in which we train these people. The second thing, we need to be able to look at the global market and start thinking, if we are going to be entrepreneurs, ultimately we need to want to sell to the global village. And not only to the people around us. If I can sell 5 and have enough to feed my family, I'm okay. And to some people, they think those who want to go to those extents are greedy. It's part of the culture. Or if I can only have enough to survive. But if we are going to have those billionaires, those are people that need to start thinking about how they sell even to the world. And so I think we would then need to create systems
that are going to make that easy for our entrepreneurs to be able to reach to a point where they know that whatever they are producing is going to be consumed by the world, not only by Botswana. So that then we can have those kind of entrepreneurs. So really, for me, I think the starting point is the mindset, but we're going to start with education to get our people to understand that they can do it. Some of these things, you know, there are certain things that are embedded in our culture that are anti-progress and success to the extremes even. So we need to deal with those things first. When we have dealt with them, then we need to create systems where we say, we are going to capacitate you to be able to produce to the level where you are able to sell even to the world. I'm proud with what the government is doing as far as citizen economic empowerment is concerned. I mean, we can never do enough, but I think we are going in that direction. We just need to be more disruptive and more bold in that direction.
Okay, guys, I think there's like 3 questions left, right? Yes. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3.
Lindira shy, but anyways, matter. A question that I wanted to ask is, one thing that I feel like the youth has a lot, it's learning how to step out of their comfort zone. And this is something that I personally have. Even when I joined Miss Put You On, I just remember texting Nandip actually, and I was like, hi, I'm in varsity and I want to join an organization. Can you please advise me? And I still remember her response. She said, I have something called Miss Put You On. You can join and apply if you want to, or you could join like any society at your school. So as youth leaders, this is something I know for sure all of us go through. Even you guys went through it. So I just want to know, what are the tips or advice to give somebody who is deeply want to like be a youth leader or do something, like how do they step out of that comfort zone? Because for me, it's something I'm still learning, because yes, I do pray about it. Every day I'm always like, God, give me the strength. That's a line I use every time, like, God, give me the strength to do something. Take me by your hand, because I may be talkative, but hey, I'm still in my comfort zone, Shem. So like, just as youth leaders, being there says a lot about you getting over it. What are the tips and advices you give young people who still have that problem of being in that comfort zone?
Okay, like I said, I had social anxiety, and all of a sudden I'm a leader. So I think one advice I can give you is take a leap of faith. It's uncomfortable. It's definitely uncomfortable, because just maybe beneath that step you fear to take lies the life you've been dreaming about all along. So just take a leap of faith.
Hello guys. My name is Ame, and this question is open-ended to everybody. So my question is, how do you as youth leaders bridge the gap between, how do you bridge the gap between leading others and also focusing on yourself as a young person and having an open mind to other things besides leadership? Because I do believe that there's more to life than just leading others.
Okay. Is anyone, you can answer? Okay.
Yeah, ne? All right. How do we manage to balance, in short, right? Balance our personal life and leading young people.
Not balance, but
Okay.
have an open mind to other things besides leadership.
I think she's asking like that it's not consuming to the point where it's the only thing that you do.
Where you're not only
How do you
focusing
how do you not allow leadership to consume you? How can you do other things? You can answer.
Maybe, okay.
All right. I think personally, it starts with choosing an endeavor that you didn't set out to be a leader in. When you choose something that you personally like, the leadership aspect then comes as part of the journey that you're running, right? So I'll use an example with myself. Because I run an entity called Corporate Millennial, initially when I set it out, I didn't think that made me a leader. It was something that I just enjoyed doing, to say, I've learned 1, 2, 3, and I'd like the next person to be able to learn these things from me so they have a full life. The reason I want other people to have a full life is that when I want to go do something fun, when I want to go on a trip, when I want to go out, I want my friends to be able to do that. So if I can help my friends get ahead in their life, that means we all get the bag. That means we all reach our goals and we can do other things while still making impact. And in essence, sometimes when you're a leader, it's part of who you are, even when you're not trying. So you'll think that you are putting yourself into something else that has nothing to do with leadership, and you still end up finding yourself leading in that space. You're leading in a book club without intending to. You're leading in fashion because you just have that style and people start coming to you for advice. So for me, it's always do things that you yield to naturally, regardless of whether they put you in a position of power or not. And if the leadership traits in you have already been built in you, you're always somehow going to always find yourself leading. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Maatla, and today I am with Ms. Mandipa, the founder, the president. Basically, when you talk about Miss PutYouthOn, you're talking about this beautiful young lady. But today, I'm just going to give her the opportunity to be the one that tells us what is PutYouthOn. So, hey, Miss Mandipa, you look beautiful, by the way. So, just give us a short, brief background of what is PutYouthOn.
So, hi guys. Like the name says, PutYouthOn is a platform or initiative meant to put youth on. So basically anything from, we have a channel that shares opportunities consistently about anything from volunteerism opportunities to entrepreneurship to job opportunities. And then we're also going to be an organization that ventures into having a forum where we're going to have youth leaders come and speak and discuss policies about youth, and also create a document that goes to ministries and say, hey, us as youth from PutYouthOn, this is what we're saying, these are the changes that we want you to make. And then the other thing what we're going to do is have events such as this, training youth leaders. So the other way we're putting youth on is to ensuring that we develop youth leaders so they can also put other youth on. So that is what PutYouthOn is. Stay tuned. We're going to do big things. Follow us on all social media pages. We're still going to do, podcasts. We're still going to have so many things. It's just the beginning. And yeah, thanks.
So tell us a little bit of how did you say, let me create something as beautiful as PutYouthOn? What happened? Was it a dream? What happened?
This just started as me having a TikTok idea saying, let me post, because people are always asking me, Mandipa, how do you know about this? How do you know about this? And I said, you know what? Let me just post on TikTok and show people how I know about this thing. And then people started wanting me to post consistently. And if you know TikTok, consistently editing, I was like, that's not my vibe. So what do I do? Get an app that everyone uses consistently and post on there. So that's how I started going on to WhatsApp, and that's how everything started. And now I have a beautiful team because the workload started becoming a lot, and I was like, this idea is not for me, but it's for the people, and I can't lead alone, so I need other people, right? So yes, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. So what is like the advice you would give people of our age, the youth, about join with PutYouthOn? Like, what kind of advice would you give these young people?
Okay, when it comes to joining Miss PutYouthOn as like a volunteer, I literally have over 20 volunteers at the moment, so that's not possible. However, you can follow us if you want access to our volunteerism opportunities, if you want access to other initiatives, other societies, because one other thing that we do is to ensure we post about other societies and clubs and youth-led initiatives so you can join them. There's not only PutYouthOn, guys, there's a Safe Space BW, there's Global Youth Development Hub, there's so many other youth-led initiatives that you can join, but PutYouthOn is the platform that will tell you the thing. So yes.
My last question is, you talk about God a lot every single time. So just like give us something beautiful about relating God with Miss PutYouthOn.
Miss PutYouthOn is a God-given dream that He assisted bringing to reality. So when you see PutYouthOn, when you see me, when you see the team, understand that God brought us together and it was meant to be. So My advice when it comes to God and relating God with everything that you do is that center him. Center him in decision making, center him in choosing people to collaborate with, choosing people to be a part of your team, what ideas to have, all of those things. That is my advice. That's how I've related God to this thing, and that's how you see our first event being this amazing. Yeah. So God is my refuge, God is my comforter, my provider, my protector, and that's exactly how. Stepping out in faith, stepping out in belief of who he is and how he can move, and that he has created me for a purpose. He has created you for a purpose as well, is what I encourage you to do. Step out, ask him, Braji, you brought me here, what is it for? You get what I mean? You know, and have a willingness, look, I'm willing to hear you, and not only that, I'm willing to put in the work to become what you put me on this earth for. And I promise you,
you'll be good. That was beautiful. And the last one, I said it was the last one, but just give us like small challenges that I would say that you faced as the founder of Miss PutYouthOn. And I know one of your biggest way of overcoming was God, but just give us something like, what was one of the few challenges that you feel like, oh, when I started this, I faced, and this problem, I took it, and this is where I am?
I think I'm a perfectionist. I don't like things not being the way that I envisioned them to be. So Miss PutYouthOn went through so many changes. And what kind of pissed me off is that not only did they go through so many changes, it was in the public eye. So everybody's seeing, wait, I changed from Miss PutYouthOn to PutYouthOn. Everybody's seeing that we changed our objectives. And I had to come to terms with that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm asking God for guidance. Maybe I go ahead of myself by starting something without getting proper guidance from him. And you know how excited you get when he says, go, and then you forget to ask, okay, but where and how? And when he just said, this is what I want, so I jump. So I think certain things, but you know, God is a God that works all things out for your good. So maybe something that could have been detrimental to me, he said, I'm going to teach you how to be patient with me next time. Because maybe if I had just waited, it would have been PutYouthOn from the beginning, and there would have been uniformity. But because it's a God that makes all things for your good, someone is going to learn from my story, you know, and someone's going to say, okay, now I'm going to wait and hear step by step. But yeah,
I just love how collected you are. But I just want to say congratulations. Yeah, and this is me with the founder, the president, Miss PutYouthOn, this beautiful young lady. Stay tuned on what PutYouthOn is.
All right, I'm Loago Saleshando, and I just attended the PutYouthOn event here at the Steinbeck Incubator. It's been an incredible day of insight and specific knowledge with regards to entrepreneurship and leadership. We are all very lucky as the youth to be here, and it's important to be actually, by the way, because these are the rooms that we need to be in. In life, we're told always it's about who you know. And spaces like this are where we get to forge those connections with people that we don't know, that we made into the future. And industry-specific knowledge that otherwise we'd have never got anywhere else. So we're truly blessed to be able to be in such a room. Summits are expensive. Here, it's been affordable to cater for the youth. And I myself was a speaker, but I too am so blessed that I get to be inspired the way I've been today. So that was today.